Bill O'Reilly here, Tuesday, February 23rd, 2021. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening across our nation. Leaders in San Francisco caved to public pressure on changing school names. President Biden's pick for Attorney General vows to crack down on white supremacy. The Coca Cola company in trouble for telling employees to, quote, be less white. New Jersey legalizes the sale of pot. A survey shows most young Americans are unaware of the Holocaust. Also ahead, what about the threat of white supremacy? Is it real? But first, San Francisco School Board President Gabriela Lopez backing off her decision to rename public buildings honoring Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and others, said Ms. Lopez, quote, I acknowledge and take responsibility for mistakes made in the building renaming process. This after this program hammered San Francisco for irresponsible behavior. Yes, I'll take credit even though I might not be directly responsible. President Biden's nominee for Attorney General promising to go after white supremacy if confirmed by Congress, Merrick Garland, telling senators he will personally supervise the elimination of racist white nationalist organizations. Coca Cola facing a backlash after an angry worker posted pictures from the company's diversity training materials. The program urged employees to be, quote, less white, less arrogant, less certain, less defensive, less ignorant, and more humble, unquote. An executive at Coke confirming the documents are used as part of a plan to promote inclusive workplaces. Remember the old Saturday Night Live skit, No Coke, Pepsi? New Jersey Governor Murphy signing legislation that allows all adults to legally buy marijuana. New Jersey, the 13th state to legalize pot for anyone over the age of 21. Voters approved the legislation last fall. A disturbing survey published by NBC News says nearly 66% of millennials are unaware that 6 million Jews were executed in the Holocaust. More than half believe the death toll was actually less than 2 million. There are currently more than 100,000 Holocaust survivors residing in the USA. 61% live below the poverty line. In a moment, white supremacy. What kind of a threat is it? Right back. As you know, Joe Biden has won the election, and with economic uncertainty looming, I am now more than ever recommending you diversify with gold and silver. The only company I recommend is American Hartford Gold. I trust them. I personally have done business with them. They sell physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA, and they make it easy. Please call them now. Tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they'll give you up to $1,500 of free silver on your first order. Since I've been recommending American Hartford Gold, gold itself up over 40%, silver up 60%. So don't wait. Call them now, 877-444-GOLD, 877-444-GOLD, GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Again, that's 877-444-GOLD or text GOLD to 65532. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day, the threat of white supremacy. President Biden has ordered the Justice Department and Homeland Security to deal with the rise of white supremacy. He calls it the greatest terror threat to the country. ISIS killers were stunned to hear that. There are violent groups on the racist right, like the Order of the Nine Angles and the New Aryan Empire. Ever heard of them? I hadn't either, but the feds know who they are, and some members have recently been arrested for illegal activities. In 2020, the Department of Justice brought exactly 5 criminal cases against white supremacists. 14 individuals were charged. In 2019, another 5 cases, 75 people charged, many of them members of the 1480s, a vicious Nazi-type group that deals narcotics and assaults people. It's a similar situation on the state level. Last year, in all 50 states, there were only 3 prosecutions tied to white supremacy. 9 individuals charged. 9 in 50 states all year. In 2019, the number of white racists charged, 8. So what exactly is Joe Biden and his far-left supporters talking about? I mean, radical leftists occupied blocks in downtown Seattle last summer. Based on arrest statistics, the white supremacists barely have enough personnel to occupy a deli. Now, after I heard the president define the reactionary threat from the extreme right, I tweeted a question. Where is the rise of white supremacy? Almost immediately, the far-left Twitter assassins emerged smearing me. The worst was the Huffington Post, possibly the most hateful outfit on the planet. The outrage against me was designed to send a clear message. You better not question the theory that white supremacy is dominant in America. If you do, we on the far left will hurt you. And it's not enough to condemn white racism, which the overwhelming majority of Americans do. You have to accept that it's pervasive. So what's really going on here? Well, let's examine a theory. President Biden doesn't especially care about contextualizing the danger from the right. His supporters like the issue, so he's behind it. The reason that white supremacy is being promoted as a dire threat to America is because it diverts attention away from the real public safety menace, left-wing governance. Chicago is the most dangerous city in the country, a place where thousands of African Americans have been murdered. For decades, Chicago has been run by liberals who have failed to stop the violence. New York City is dangerous and falling apart. Hundreds of thousands of residents are leaving. Far-left Mayor Bill de Blasio is a disaster. Gavin Newsom, the uber-liberal governor of California, will likely be recalled and may not survive the year. His home, San Francisco, is almost unlivable because of far-left policies. And I can go on and on and on and on. The truth is, many thousands of Americans are being hurt, killed, or deprived in radical left-wing precincts far away from any white supremacy. I'm Bill O'Reilly, and I approve the message by writing it. Disagree? I'd like to hear from you. Bill@BillO'Reilly.com. In a moment, something you might not know. Looking for your next investment? Bill O'Reilly here. There are 7 reasons to look at the NRIA Real Estate Development Fund, and here they are. Monthly cash flow payouts of 10% annualized with bonuses up to 21%. They strategically choose low-risk, high-demand neighborhoods that people are moving to. Prime new construction is a sector that is short on supply and high on demand. Diversification and safety from stock market risk. They have a short and a long-term strategy for returns today and down the road. Pandemic-hardened specialty design buildings that are open and airy. If you've been sitting on the sidelines or if you want to diversify for safety and cash flow, start your due diligence at nria.net or please call 800-800-1414. That's 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
Now, the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. On this day in 1945, U.S. Marines overran forces from the Empire of Japan, defending a 500-foot high hill on a small island in the Pacific Ocean. The image of U.S. soldiers hoisting the American flag would be one of the most iconic photographs ever. Codenamed Island X, this barren speck of volcanic rock is 1/3 the size of Manhattan and better known to the world as Iwo Jima. The invasion of the island, codenamed Operation Detachment, was planned a year in advance. The tiny territory was vital to the Allies. Washington wanted an airfield to prepare future strikes against Japan itself. Tokyo viewed the island as the last line of defense for their homeland. Beginning in June 1944, the U.S. Navy began bombarding Iwo Jima. American soldiers then stormed the beaches on February 19th, meeting little resistance from the Japanese. As our troops moved inward, they encountered brutal Japanese resistance all over the island. On February 23rd, U.S. forces won the high ground on Mount Suribachi. Once the top was secured, an American flag was attached to a damaged water pipe and raised over the island. 3 out of 6 Marines depicted in the photo would be killed within days. The ferocious battle would wage on for weeks. You can read about it in my book, Killing the Rising Sun. 70,000 U.S. soldiers fought against 21,000 Japanese troops. After 5 weeks of combat, 7,000 Marines were killed. 99% of the Japanese were dead or missing. The surrender of Iwo Jima put the Americans just 750 miles away from Tokyo. And here's something else you might not know. For some soldiers, the mission to defend the island would go on. 2 Japanese lieutenants held out for 4 years. The pair of machine gunners finally surrendered to U.S. forces on January 6, 1949. Iwo Jima, one of the bloodiest battles ever fought in U.S. history, a testimony to the bravery of the U.S. Marines. Back after this. How bad is your back, knee, or neck pain? Mine was pretty bad. I played 4 sports when I was younger, and it's catching up with me now. I tried a lot of stuff to manage the pain. Ointments, pain relievers, fish oil, nothing worked. So a doctor friend of mine recommended Omega XL, and here's why. The underlying cause of painful, achy joints and muscles is inflammation. The key to knock down inflammation before it causes damage is backed by 35 years of research, and that's what Omega XL does. The doctor also says, quote, I can't write any prescription that comes close to what Omega XL accomplishes. She was right. So if you're suffering with painful, achy joints and muscles, stop wasting money and switch to Omega XL. Order Omega XL now and get a second bottle free. Visit omegaxl.com/bill, omegaxl.com/bill, or you can call 800-844-4888, 800-844-4888. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.